Hello, you're watching VNA News and now headlines. President Trương Tấn Sang holds talks with Filipino counterpart. Ministers questioned at unprecedented question and answer session. Vietnam News Agency attends ONA Executive Board meeting in Seoul. President Trương Tấn Sang is Manila, the Philippines, to take part in the 23rd APEC Economic Leaders Meeting at the invitation of Philippine President Benigno Aquino. The following are his first activities in the country. On November 17th, President Sang held talks with President of the Philippines, Benigno Aquino, on the sidelines of the APEC Economic Leaders Meeting. Both sides issued a joint statement on lifting the ties to strategic partnership. They held that the establishment of strategic partnership opens up a new chapter for bilateral relations and contributes greatly to the maintenance of peace, prosperity, and stability in the region. Both sides also consented to maintain and enhance delegation exchanges at all levels and other activities so as to increase mutual understanding between the two peoples. Benigno Aquino affirmed that Vietnam continues to be the Philippines' major rice provider. He highly valued bilateral collaboration in search and rescue. The presidents reiterated the significance of ensuring peace, stability, security, and maritime and aviation safety and freedom in the East Sea, as well as addressing sea-related disputes in accordance with international law, encompassing the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. President Trương Tấn Sang expressed his hope that Philippine legislators will make more active contributions to the bilateral friendship and strategic partnership during his meeting with Speaker of the House of Representatives of the Philippines, Feliciana Bentimon, the same day. President Sang said the signing of a joint statement on establishing strategic partnership following his talks with Filipino President on the same day has created an impetus to strengthen trust and ties between two countries for the sake of regional peace, prosperity, and stability. Bentimon, for his part, said the Philippines is impressed by Vietnam's achievements in attracting foreign direct investment and will fine-tune policies based on lessons learned from Vietnam. Vietnam and the Philippines share many similarities, with geographical proximity regarded as an advantage to foster oral links, he stated. The same day, President Trương Tấn Sang attended the APEC CEO Summit, where he asked APEC enterprises to take corporate social responsibility as a guideline for development and see sustainability as a leading factor in creative renovation. During the event, participants vowed to strengthen business operations and investment in Vietnam to take advantages of new cooperation opportunities. They also made a number of recommendations to the Vietnamese leader on measures and policies to create more favorable conditions for investors in Vietnam. On November 17th, the National Assembly continued its unprecedented question and answer session. Issues related to Trans-Pacific Partnership or TPP agreement were among the topics of the session.
In response to questions about opportunities and challenges for the garment and textile sector, Minister of Industry and Trade Vũ Huy Hoàng said that his ministry has hosted some negotiations for some free trade agreements, including the TPP. He noted that countries involved in the negotiations agreed to pave the way for Vietnamese commodities, including garment and textile products, which are the strengths of Vietnam. Minister Hoàng also queried on the implementation of the government's decree on developing support industry and business support in applying new technologies. He cleared up queries regarding measures to prevent counterfeits and the roadmap for cutting tariffs on imported automobiles. Another cabinet member, Minister of Finance Đinh Tiến Dũng, was queried on issues related to public debts and the implementation of tax collection target. The National Assembly began its unprecedented question and answer session on November 16th, which is broadcast live and initially appreciated by deputies and voters nationwide as one of the legislature's efforts to renovate and increase the efficiency of its operations. This is the first time all government members have attended the Q&A session to respond to deputies' queries regarding their remit. On November 18th, the final day of the meeting, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng will clarify several issues and answer deputies' questions.
A Vietnamese delegation led by Hoàng Bình Quân, head of the party's Central Committee's External Relations Commission, was on a working trip to Egypt. More details coming up next.
At the reception hosted by Egyptian Prime Minister Sharif Ismail on November 16th, Quân stressed Vietnam and Egypt have similarities as well as potentials and cooperation opportunities. To deepen their ties and further cooperation in such sectors as oil and gas, tourism, telecommunication, and fertilizer, hosts and guests agreed the two sides should increase high-ranking delegation and business exchanges. The two sides also need to organize the 5th meeting of the Vietnam-Egypt Joint Committee in Hanoi at the earliest. The Vietnam Trade Bureau in Egypt reported two-way trade has surged over the past 5 years, from $187 million in 2010 to nearly $400 million in 2014. Of the figures, Vietnam's export reached $380 million. Vietnam's major export items to Egypt include mobile phones, components, seafood, fiber, coffee, cashew nut, rubber, and petrochemical products. It imports footwear, plastic material, milk and dairy products, and sugar from Egypt.
The 39th Executive Board meeting of the Organization of Asia-Pacific News Agencies wrapped up on November 17th after issuing a joint statement.
In his opening remarks on November 16th, President and CEO of Yonhap News Agency Park No-Hoang said news agencies, along with newspapers and broadcasting companies, have faced challenges from newly emerging media outlets. Now is a time for news agencies to actively think and try to change themselves for survival. Cooperation among news agencies in this region will be an important seed for the continuous and stable development of the region in the upcoming Asia-Pacific era, he stated. In her presentation, head of the Vietnam News Agency Editorial Secretary Vũ Việt Trang expressed belief that the Organization of Asia-Pacific News Agency, by putting forth suitable digital communication solutions, is on the right track to catch up with the developments of the global communications. The 40th meeting is slated for next March in Bahrain. On this occasion, VNA General Director Nguyễn Đức Lợi met the Yonhap President and CEO to review progress of bilateral cooperation over the past time and outline their joint tasks for the future. Both sides agreed to establish an exclusive cooperation framework and support the advertising of joint projects in covering news and popularizing images of each country. Park thanked VNA for its effective and active support to Yonhap and its resident staff over the past time, adding that Yonhap plans to send more correspondents to Vietnam in the near future, given that the two countries' ties are growing extensive. Within the framework of the meeting, VNA General Director Lợi and Executive Director of the Islamic Republic News Agency, Mohammad Khodadi, signed an agreement on bilateral information exchange, under which both sides will exchange visits, offer training in journalism skills, and provide necessary equipment.
The 39th Executive Board meeting of the Organization of Asia-Pacific News Agencies wrapped up on November 17th after issuing a joint statement vying to bolster cooperation across the board. Moving on to the other news, the Vietnam National Administration of Tourism on November 17th announced the Vietnam Annual Tourism Report 2014 for the first time.
The full report in both Vietnamese and English can be accessed at Báo cáo thường niên du lịch 2014. The report, compiled with the technical help of the EU-funded Environmentally and Socially Responsible Tourism Capacity Development Program, is the first complete document produced in line with international experience, aiding the assessment of tourism's socio-economic impacts. The document evaluates tourism's economic contribution to the national economy, both direct and indirect contributions. Data in the report came from statistics and results of surveys of the General Statistics Office, the State Bank of Vietnam, the VNAT, and provincial municipal departments of culture, sports, and tourism.
The Prime Minister has passed a project that ensures equitable sharing of benefits from genetic resources and targets conservation work and sustainable use of biodiversity in Vietnam.
The project is titled Capacity Building for the Ratification and Implementation of the Nagoya Protocol on Access to Genetic Resources and the Fair and Equitable Sharing of Benefits in Vietnam. The project uses a non-refundable aid of $12.5 million from the United Nations Development Programme via the Global Environmental Fund. It will be implemented in Hanoi and Northern Lao Cai province in 4 years. The project's target is to contribute to the conservation work and sustainable use of biodiversity in Vietnam by increasing the nation's competencies in implementing the protocol and ensuring equitable sharing of benefits from genetic resources. Major results gained from the project include establishment and improvement of a policy system related to management of and access to genetic resources and sharing of benefits, assistance in building a genetic resource access mechanism, increase in awareness of genetic access and sharing of benefit, and implementation of private-public partnership model in genetic access.
A series of exhibitions on the life and literary career of great poet Nguyễn Du kicked off in Ho Chi Minh City on November 17th in celebrations of his 250th birth anniversary.
The event opened with a show of books and documents on Nguyễn Du and a collection of his works in Vietnamese and Han Nom, Han Chinese, and the ancient Vietnamese ideographic Nom script languages, including the well-known The Tale of Kiều and commentaries made by the scholars. Most of the documents and exhibits displayed at the exhibition were collected by local collectors and the poet's family. Nguyễn Du's works, especially The Tale of Kiều, have become an indispensable part on each household's bookshelf. The event offers a chance for local readers to learn more about the great poet's life and literary career. Poem recitals, seminars, and a number of publication releases are also planned. The exhibition week will last until November 25th.
Images, destinations, tourism potential, and the special delights of the Mekong Delta provinces are on display in Hanoi. Let's take a look. The exhibition is among the activities of the ongoing Mekong Delta Cultural and Tourism Week at the Vietnam Exhibition Center for Culture and Arts. The Cultural Week was officially opened on November 16th with an art performance featuring traditional singing and dancing originating from the Mekong Delta provinces. It aims to promote tourism potentials, honor the Delta's typical cultural values, contribute to investment attraction and socio-economic development of localities in the region. This is also an opportunity for localities to strengthen cooperation and experience exchanges with the organizations of culture and tourism. Next year, various cultural, tourism, and sports activities will be held to promote tourism in Phu Quoc, Kiên Giang Province, and other Mekong Delta provinces. New tours will be kicked off connecting Vietnam with Laos, Cambodia, and Singapore. Kiên Giang Province welcomes approximately 3 million tourists every year. It's expected that the National Tourism Year event will help it raise the number of tourists by 20% next year. And that has wrapped up our news bulletin. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye for now.